As the pomade guy amongst my friends, I often get asked for product recommendations. Being a fan of homebrewed products, there comes a challenge recommending these products to them for two main reasons. Firstly, they're not the most accessible products, especially here in Singapore. You either have to get them at specific barbershops or through online means. Secondly, they can cost quite a bit, especially when you're buying online. The shipping price can bring the total cost up to $30 to $50 just for one product. And let's face it, not everyone is willing to go through all that effort and money just for a hair product. That inspired me to start looking at accessible, budget-friendly options that you can find at your local drugstore or supermarket. This is Ghetto Regret. Welcome back to the first episode of Ghetto Regret, the series where I look at commonly found hair products and tell you whether you should get it or will you regret it. Just a quick disclaimer, these products and references are mostly going to apply to those living in Singapore like I do or Southeast Asia, but as long as you're interested to find out more about these products, feel free to continue watching. Seeing how this is the very first episode of the series, I figured it's best to look at a brand that pretty much every Asian knows. For today, we're gonna look at the Gatsby Dressing Pomade Ultimate Lock. Now this is an orthodox water-based pomade with an extra heavy hold. Bought this a couple of months ago, been using it on and off for a few days, and I figured it's time to start telling you about it. Now looking at the presentation of the pomade, it's actually pretty basic. It comes in a 2.8 ounce black plastic jar with a screw top lid. You get a label on the lid with the brand, product name, and this shimmery red detailing. It also has a label on the side that tells you the hold and shine level, and on the back of it you get the ingredients and more information about the product. You also get more information on the bottom of the jar as well. Looking at the product on the inside, it looks like a fairly standard gel pomade. It has a translucent yellowish consistency. Scooping it out is really thick and you can start to feel how sticky and tacky the product is. Now as for the scent, I think what they were going for is this lemony citrusy smell, but to me, it smells like lemon dishwash soap. It smells really bad and synthetic and I honestly do not like the scent. Thankfully though, it's not overpowering, but you do catch hints of it throughout the day. Now breaking down the product, it's really easy, but it starts to feel tacky and sticky the more you break it down. Much like any other gel pomade really. Applying it into the hair, it does feel quite thick and sticky, but it's definitely not bad. I'm applying into completely dry hair, which I don't normally do with gel pomades, but it doesn't tug and pull that bad. With that said, if you want really smooth application, just apply into damp or towel dried hair. The scent is definitely noticeable as you're working it in, and once again, I really do not like the scent. Just smells like I'm doing the dishes. The shine level is advertised to be a medium, and you kinda get that at the start of application, but of course with gel pomades it does dry up, so you kinda get more of a lowish natural shine with this. Just looking it back, it goes through fairly easily, surprisingly. It's not too thick and sticky like most gel pomades. You do get a bit of resistance, but that's just from the hold that you get from this pomade. And you also get a surprisingly decent amount of slickness for a gel pomade, which isn't really that common. Gonna style my hair now, talk to you again in a bit. And I think I'm pretty much just gonna call that done. So as you can tell, I'm getting a good amount of height. My sides are holding down nicely without looking like they're glued down. For a gel pomade, it has a pretty good amount of slickness, getting that lowish medium shine, and the scent is subtle but noticeable. So anyways, let's talk more about the Gatsby Ultimate Lock. Like I mentioned earlier, Gatsby is a brand that pretty much every Asian is familiar with. I started using hair waxes when I was 14, and Gatsby was the one that I used cause pretty much everyone else used Gatsby as well. Now I could be wrong on this, but the dressing pomade lineup from Gatsby is relatively new. I started seeing these pop up like maybe slightly over a year ago, and they didn't really interest me cause I was quite certain that they're just basic gel pomades. And the thing is, are they basic gel pomades? Yes. Are they bad gel pomades? I actually don't think so. Application wise, it's pretty standard for an orthodox gel type water based pomade. If you're familiar with pomades like Suavecito and Layrite, it pretty much just feels like that. Now where this kinda surprised me is with the styling characteristics. You do get a solid amount of hold with this. I don't really get that extra super heavy hold that they claim it to be because it says it's a 7 on this. Irregardless, you do get a heavy hold with this, and I think more importantly, it doesn't force your hair into a blocky shape like most gel pomades. The second thing that surprised me is with the slickness. Most gel pomades rely on their tackiness to slick your hair down, but I don't get that with this pomade. It feels like it has actual slickness, and even though it's not the best amount of slickness, it's still good enough to keep your hair down without it looking like it's just glued down. And just like most gel pomades, this one does harden up in the hair, and while I'm not normally a fan of that, it doesn't harden up too quickly. It gave me an ample amount of time to style with, and once it settles in, it does help with the overall endurance. Now as for washing it out, just like you can expect from gel pomades, it comes out with one rinse. I also find that after rinsing this out, it doesn't leave my hair feeling too dried out and lifeless, so I guess that's a pretty good thing. Another thing that I want to talk about is with the price, cause you can't really do a budget series without talking about how much it's gonna cost. At the time of this video, at NTUC, this cost $8.60, and at Venus, it costs $7.95. I'm not sure how much the price is at Guardian or Watsons, but I'm pretty sure it's about the same as the cost at NTUC, which is about $8.60. Nonetheless, if you want to get this, getting this at Venus is pretty much your best option. So anyways, final verdict on the Gatsby Dressing Pomade Ultimate Lock. Now I'm gonna be honest, I pretty much started this series so that I can shit on commonly found hair products. However, I don't really think that's the case with the Gatsby Ultimate Lock. Now should you get or regret the Gatsby Ultimate Lock? I say get, but if you meet these conditions. If you're looking for something cheap and accessible, something user-friendly, something easy to wash, and you don't really mind the lack of quality ingredients, this is a pretty decent option. I feel like this is the Asian Suavecito. You can pretty much find it everywhere, and even though it's not the best option for a pomade, it's not a bad one either. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Get or Regret. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any budget product recommendations. Subscribe to my channel right here, or you can check out my last video right here. I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.